Actually, we're not supposed to have that intro because that meant for the Three Marketers show. But nonetheless, since you have already seen it, just to give you a little bit of a heads up, where other than this AMA Sunday night session that happens every Sunday night on my YouTube channel, my Facebook page, as well as my Facebook group, well, this is also going on my podcast as well, which is the Small Biz Marketing Podcast. And basically, yeah, that's what we're going to do on the Sunday night. On top of that, as you saw just now, we also have another live show on Wednesday nights as well, which is me, Manfred, and Andrew. Three of us go live on every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Malaysia time to actually interview. Most of the time, we interview one digital marketing experts or any experts. Last week we talked about really about investing in the digital era, and it actually spurred off some very debated, very heat debate about Elon Musk, which is a very interesting topic. Eventually, we're gonna turn it into another topic, but we talk about a lot of different things over there. But then again, over here on this AMA Sunday session, I usually answer questions about Facebook advertising and digital marketing, collecting all the questions that you have posted on my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, as well as my Facebook page as well. So yeah, if you have any questions regarding Facebook advertising and digital marketing, feel free to post them on my YouTube channel, my Facebook page, my Facebook group. And what I will usually do is I will gather over and answer them on Sunday night like this. Okay, so if you're listening to this on as a podcast episode, don't worry. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a message or go over to any of my presence on YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere to drop any questions you have. All right, so okay, so basically, yeah, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go through a few questions, but nonetheless, if you have any questions over here, feel free to drop on in the comment section, and I'm gonna bring them up for discussion as we move along. Okay, now just a quick heads up. Okay, just if in case you are not aware that I have launched this podcast, which I call the Small Biz Marketing Podcast. Some people ask me why small biz. In fact, first thing first, I run small business, usually small medium businesses. I work with a lot of small medium businesses from all around the world. Basically, I think my key learning in the past many years throughout my entire marketing career or digital marketing career was very much specifically focusing on growing small businesses, small medium businesses, of course. So I guess that will be a better context if I want to offer any advice or suggestions or opinion or anything around that. In fact, in the past 1 week, I talked about a lot of things. I think one of a very interesting topic that I covered was, is Facebook dying? Because a lot of people ask me this question: is Facebook dying? In fact, well, I don't really think so, but it's of course arguable. But then again, I've already put in my 2 cents worth of opinion in episode one of the episodes. I think just head over to this QR code and you can listen to it. I think episode 23. And also last week, I also covered a few things about my content marketing strategy, which is, I think this is really something that a lot of people have to pay attention to, because basically in the Web 3.0, the Web 3, a lot of things are going very interesting, where I think a lot of opportunities are showing themselves, where I think if you're ready, you can actually do a lot of things. Like, for example, one of the areas that I look at here is it's a lot easier for anybody to start creating a presence and monetize a presence on the digital media. So I think that's something that I wanted to look at. And in order for any business to thrive, you see, in Web3, I truly believe any business must be a media itself as a brand, where you can actually create evocation and you have a strategy to communicate very effectively with your audience. I guess that's something that any brand or any business that wants to thrive in the Web3 arena must get yourself ready for that. So I talk about the content marketing strategy that I used in the past, and a bit of things that I plan to do moving forward. In fact, when it comes to content side, I have a lot of very interesting plans. Now, when it comes to content, I also have, some opinion about this. Like, for example, some people also look at, hey, Jason, I think you are kind of like everywhere, where you kind of talk about this, and you also have another podcast in Cantonese talking about a lot of other things, and you have this small biz marketing, you have a YouTube channel talking about Facebook advertising, you have like a live show talking about digital marketing and entrepreneurship as a whole, aren't you kind of distracting your audience, kind of like not really having a very clear positioning on your own? But I guess on the other hand, if you look at this, this is also a way for us to show different faces of ourselves. That's what I think. Basically, because as an individual, we have different faces, and eventually there is another thing about Web3, which is what we call the rule of seven. Now, in the rule of seven, it says a person needs to cross path with a brand at least 7 times to build the trust. To be willingly, to be interested in doing business with you. I mean, simply put. So I guess for any business, you want to look at this as how can you create a shorter journey, as in like, let's say, for example, in the past, I was actually doing a lot of webinars. Even though I do a lot of webinars, but I would say the speed of churning new webinars and warming my audience through different webinars is also something that may not be that efficient in terms of like speed. So when I have different touch points where people can cross path with me on different format, like podcast, like live shows, like a lot of different other things, like my YouTube videos, it actually speed up the so-called the warming up process. I think that is really something that I'm seeing right now. But really, as a whole, as a brand, as a coach, as an individual, especially, you really need to think about how do you build a personal brand, which is one of the topic that I covered in the past week's episodes. Now, in this podcast, the Small Biz Marketing podcast, I am actually updating on a daily basis. So expect something really like I'm actually doing this like really like very putting a lot of effort in doing this. So I'm hoping that I'm able to bring some value to the community in a different way. All right, so let's go through some of the questions. But by the way, remember to rate, review, and subscribe, especially on whichever platform that you are listening to the podcast, whether it's on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, because that helps us get discovered by other people as well, which we can actually help us grow, help me grow, help the Small Biz Marketing Podcast grow as well. All right, so that's what we do. And yeah, let's go through a few questions, right? Wow, okay, now Chiwa is saying, you are brain dead today. What happened to your brain? What happened to your brain? But nonetheless, yeah, just chip in if there's anything, because we have I think today we don't have a lot of questions. I think there are 5 of them. So let's go through one by one. But guys, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comment. And if you're listening to the podcast, just drop me just drop your questions in any of my social media channels on YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere. And I'll pick them up and I will answer them on Sunday night like this. So every Sunday night, 10 p.m. Malaysia time, this is where I answer your questions. So then don't expect me to reply to your comment, yeah? I just want to put it up front because really I want to say this over and over again. I believe this is something that I would like to remind everyone every week, which is I truly believe the most effective way to answer digital marketing or Facebook advertising related questions is to answer verbally, not through typing, because it can create a lot of misunderstanding, confusion. And in fact, when I talk to you like this, I'm able to give you better examples, better ideas, and better explanation in that way. So yeah, so that's what we do. All right, pop your questions in anywhere. We're gonna just bring it over. Yeah, just gonna do this. All right, so Vivian is asking, because Vivian is commenting on my video about how to reduce cost per page like with Facebook ads. And Vivian asked this question: what if I don't have a website? So as a network marketer, we need personal branding and we don't need a website, since our consumers will buy from the company's website themselves. So where should I lead my people to? I guess I actually doing Facebook page like ads. It's a very good question, Vivian. Thank you so much for the question. Now, first thing first, let's take a look about this from 2 angles. First thing first, about personal branding. Now, I would say personal branding is built through interactions, not through liking your Facebook page. That's what I think. Now, if I want to put this in a very logical way, if you are actually growing likes from strangers, you are actually getting people to like you as a stranger, and you are hoping that every time you post something, they will see it, they will read it, they will grow fond to you, they will grow more familiar with you, and one day they'll be ready to buy from you. So that's one logical way that you probably are thinking right now. But here's the thing. Our organic reach is now as low as 1%, which means, let's say if you have 1,000 people who like your Facebook page, every time you post something, you are likely to only reach about 10, if not like 20 to 30 people. It's like 1 to 3% on average. So hoping that posting regularly would help you grow, nurture your audience or warm your audience up to get ready to buy from you doesn't work anymore. So in my opinion, growing likes from cold audience is not advisable, if that's what I mean. So if you're talking about building a personal brand, that's really the right thing to do, Vivian. So when you are building a personal brand, my question here is, what can you do to build a personal brand? Just reversely thinking about this. I'm a personal brand. I'm building my personal brand. But you won't look at Jason Gunn as the face and you grow fond to me and all that. You will have to come to me, listen to me, watch my videos and all that. That's how you grow more, familiar with, I think I know this guy. I think I like this guy. I probably want to work with him. So that's how the whole thing works. So I guess in order to build a personal brand, your plan should be, when you are running ads, your plan should be getting started. I mean, get started, as in like, start conversation or start communication, or start messaging with your audience. I would say you probably can do something like, either you want to offer some one-on-one advice on something that you're offering, or you can actually run some webinars, for people to come in and understand about your business, knowing what you do. So basically, I guess it's about building multiple touch points for people to know you, understand you, and trust you, eventually wanting to buy from you. So yeah, you're talking about network marketer, personal branding. I totally agree with you. But then again, I guess, we want to look at how can we effectively start building a relationship with a person, or rather, to be more specifically, a stranger. So I guess starting a conversation in a more meaningful way would actually spark a relationship in a more meaningful way as well. So think along the line, Vivian, and eventually, yeah. So that's what I think about building a personal brand, leading people to kind of like liking you. You don't need a website, to be frank, because I totally understand that people will buy from your so-called company website. But then again, you have to understand, I mean, from a stranger to buying on your company website, the gap is something that you need to close. And this is really some activities that you need to think about. How can you fill in the gap in order to warm your audience up and to build the trust between you and your prospect, and eventually turn them into a customer? So that's what I think. Vivian, thanks for the question. Now, yeah, guys, if you have any questions, remember to pop in the comment. Okay, and I'm gonna go over them as I finish these questions now. I have another question from Huang, asking on my video, which is about monetizing Facebook group. There is a 3-day challenge talking about that. Basically, Huang is asking, what problems did I face when running challenges in a Facebook group? For Huang, it's hard to manage all the participants. Okay, now first thing first, I mean, you're talking about running challenges, running workshops, or running programs in Facebook group. Now, I totally understand. I think I've been doing it, especially my 6-day challenge was started as a Facebook group program, where when somebody sign up, they will be invited to join the Facebook group, and eventually all the live training will be conducted and live streamed into the Facebook group, where people can watch it, can ask questions as we move along, and it's like a multiple days kind of stuff. But we no longer do that anymore. But from time to time, I still do group challenges or group training. So I think that's what Huang is referring to. So what problems did I face? I guess I would agree with you, Huang. It's not easy to manage all participants. I guess this is the problem when you're running any digital training or digital challenge or digital workshop. Because even if you run Zoom workshop, as we are doing right now very actively, you can't guarantee that everybody who sign up would attend, because it's really their free will, you see. So all you can do is to send a lot more reminders, just to close the loop, hoping that they would get really like reminded, kind of like really come in and join the workshop, whether it's in the group or in the Zoom. And I guess eventually the other problem that I face here is, when you're talking about in the group itself, is sometimes it's about, I think I actually like both. It's kind of, if you organize it correctly, you don't really have a lot of challenges. Like the other challenge, like for example, we talk about attendance, is really you have to send a lot of reminders, getting them to be reminded about this thing coming up. And of course, you need to use all the group features like organizing your content in guides and all this kind of stuff. That will be really helpful in terms of helping your audience navigate. But then again, I guess the other challenge will be getting them to submit their homework, because at one point when we are doing our challenges, there are homework involved where people need to submit their ads and show us what they do and all that. But of course, this is also something that not everybody would actually do whatever you ask them to do. But again, reminders will really help. But I guess we as a trainer, we have to really understand where this is really the free will. As long as they come in, as long as we do what we do best in terms of delivering the content and organizing the whole challenge or workshop or learning experience in an optimum way, the best we can, I think that's really depending, because we are doing adult, it's like, training for adults right now, as in like adults, they all have their own thing to do. Life gets in the way. Sometimes people may not attend live, but hopefully they will watch the replay. But then again, it's really not something that we can force, because when it comes to like online learning, digital learning, or any virtual learning, I guess it's the fact that the completion rate is not really great, as in, not everybody would go through what they want. But I guess one of the things that you can do is put a price tag. I guess when somebody paid for it, it's more likely that they will do this thing. To go along, to complete the whole journey with you. That's what I think. Yeah. So, Huang, I hope I answered your question. Yeah. Nonetheless, all the best for your any group challenge, Facebook group challenge. It's a great place to do. I would say it's really a very interesting place. But I guess we are interacting with humans, so humans are very, very dynamic. So we just have to do our best. All right, Huang, thank you so much. And next question is coming from Jers. All right, so Jers has a few questions actually. So Jers runs an agency, obviously. So he has several questions about business manager. So let's go through that. As an agency, running ads for others, is it better to create a business manager for each business, or one business manager handling multiple businesses, multiple pages? Because you're wondering how to set up payment methods for the different businesses. Now, very good question, Jers. Thank you so much for the question. So basically, coming from agency perspective, here's what I think. All right. I think the best practice, the best way to do this is really to create one business manager for every single business. So your business manager is yours, as in like you are the agency business manager, and every client that you work with, get them to go through the process of creating their own business manager. Why? Because eventually that would really create each individual business as a standalone business manager. If there is anything happen to let's say, for example, if you park everything under your own business manager, when you get hacked, everybody will get involved. But if it's really their client's business manager, if there is anything happen, you can still cut tie and it's still theirs. Because if you are only coming in as an agency managing the ad account, you are not allowed to do any changes on the ad account under the other business manager, which is your client's business manager, is what I think. So my best practice is really to go through the process of helping every client create their own business manager, because on the other hand, it's also a lot easier when we part ways. You see, when we part ways, basically, it's very easy. It's just like a snap of finger, and everything was just gone. Everything goes back to the normal state, and no string attached. Everything will be very clean slate, because you're also talking about payment method, right? So, in fact, it's a lot easier, don't you think? When you have multiple business manager, you just create their own business account, business manager, and Facebook page, and their ad account under the business manager. You only come in and manage it as a partner, and everything is under their individual billing. So it's a lot easier, right? So you don't need to worry about you need to park your credit card everywhere and all this kind of stuff. But that's what I would definitely do, because first thing first, I'm no longer running an agency. But when I was running my agency, that's what I do. And as now, I'm actually working with a lot of agencies under my coaching portfolio. That's what I would advise them to do as well, because moving forward, business manager will become more and more important. And eventually, you want to make sure that you protect your business manager, because sometimes, I'm not saying that clients are bad, but sometimes they are funny, hanky-panky clients. I experienced before during my agency career where I created an ad account under my business manager for a client and using my credit card as they park money under me. And when we spend at one time, they just poof. And, the outstanding bill, who to bear? I had to bear. And there's nothing I can do, because if I don't clear that, because that account is under my business manager, I can't do anything. But back then, if that ad account is under the client's business manager, I'll just pull my credit card. I'll just let it be, man. Just rot in their business manager. That's what I think. I mean, funny thing can happen. I'm just really thinking about that's the best way to really kind of like protect each other. I'm not saying that either one of us want to do hanky-panky, but I guess let's keep a very clean slate between. Yeah, Jess, thank you for the question. Now I want to go over to the next one from Doris. Now Doris is asking, will there be impact if you have more than one Facebook account under personal name? How to remove the unused account? Now, I would say not really, because yeah, as long as you are having different email addresses and all that, and they are still people who actually kind of keep multiple profile. But then again, moving forward, I guess Facebook is going to put a lot more restrictions, and they actually actively delete accounts that are inactive, you see. So I would say you can consolidate if there is no really like something necessary to keep the other account. Like I used to have two accounts. In fact, one point I just terminated the other one. So how to delete? I think when you go into it, there is a setting. There was a way. I think it's under the profile setting. You just try to navigate. I haven't done this for a long time. There is a way for you to delete that account. Yeah, you can delete individual profile. I guess, yeah, it's quite permanent. I guess once you delete, in a few days' time, they will just proof your content and everything will be gone. So that's what I think. Okay, so Doris, I hope I answered your question. Yeah, just go into the, what do we call, the settings, the profile settings to do that. Okay, now, this is another question from Tim. Tim is asking, has anyone experienced this error when creating a catalog? 200 permission error, what could be the solution? Thanks in advance. Thank you, Tim, for the question. I guess 200 permission error, it's a permission error, which means I've actually seen this before. You don't have enough permission to create a catalog, which means you're not a full admin to this business manager. So I would suggest you check your admin status. If you're full admin, you shouldn't encounter this problem. But then again, if you're full admin and you still have issue with that, I guess you should consider contacting Facebook for the help, because sometimes this could be some bug, to be frank. It happens from time to time. So just go in to see whether are you the full admin. Because in order to create catalog and all that, only full admin of the business manager can do that. So if not, then you get somebody who is full admin to give you full admin access, then you should be able to do that very easily. Okay, Tim? All right, thanks for the question. Now, back to this. I have several of them now. First thing first, I think Huang just, okay, thanks Huang. I hope I pronounced your name correctly, yeah, Huang. And you have another question. Let me bring up Chiwai's question first before I go over. Now, Chiwai is asking, okay, now let me bring back to this thing. So Chiwai is asking, question for my thought. So last time we have message objective WhatsApp in a way to get leads from ads. Now with a new rollout where objectives are streamlined, there's only two: engagement, WhatsApp, sales, WhatsApp. Which one is the closest to the old one? Whether which one works better for you so far. To be frank, I haven't been using WhatsApp WhatsApp objective for the longest time. Every time I do this, I would actually go for traffic and get people to click into WhatsApp. But then again, I also understand that some people are actually using it. Some of my clients are doing that as well. I guess for this kind of situation, you have to think which one is closer to what you want. So is it you want sales? Sales means probably, I guess, is really on WhatsApp commerce. Okay, and engagement is where you probably start getting them to talk to you, and eventually you want to start a conversation with you, getting them to give you their phone number, or not, you already have their phone number anyway. So to call them, to prime them up, to get them ready for the lead generation process. I guess the closer one will be engagement. I guess if you go for sales, right, it should be triggering the so-called the WhatsApp commerce feature. But to be frank, I haven't done this for the longest time. That's what I can understand from the surface. But then again, as we all know, when Facebook group them into things like that, eventually they are positioning to be, really specifically for that purpose. So I would say, Chiwai, I would go for engagement first to test it how it goes. But I guess, the The easiest way is to test both, isn't it? So if the client gives us 50 ringgit budget, let's split into two and see which one gets us better result, or what can we learn from this process. Why not, right? So yeah, I mean, that's what I'll do. We will tell client, I mean, the client will understand anyway. Yeah, so why not just go over and test both and see how it goes, right? And let me know, please. I want to know the outcome and see what's the optimization moving forward, because I'm not running this kind of objective anymore. I mean, I haven't done this for the longest time, but I would like to know as well. Chiwai, please let me know. Thanks for the question, Chiwai. Okay, now let's see. Then I probably want to bring up the other one from Huang. Okay. Now, Huang is asking, as I mentioned, it's hard to manage the homework submission for your Facebook group training. Do you use the learning management to manage all that? To be frank, I have my own learning management LMS system under my WordPress. But even that, in fact, most of my training doesn't involve homework. So those that involve homework are those live training where I usually do in the Facebook group. So yeah, that's all what I do. In terms of my live training, I usually do it in the Facebook group or in my Zoom format. I would say so far I prefer the Facebook group at the moment, and yeah, I haven't tried anything of this yet, as in like LMS to handle all these homework submission. But based on my experience, having my LMS running for almost 2 years, you know, the classes, all my courses has been attended by thousands of people from all around the world. I would say to be let's to be very upfront and frank over here. I think the percentage of people who complete all the course, all the program from A to Z, module 1 until the end, it's actually less than 20%. So if you have homework and all that, expect them not to come back, probably, I would say, because, well, I guess this is how people work nowadays. Yeah, we are not kids anymore, I guess. If you want homework, then yeah. But if you do it in the Facebook group, at least you can actually shout out to them, you know, ask them to submit. That's what I think. I'll probably do that. Yeah. So yeah, like Chiwa was saying, my homework is pure best effort basis. A lot of time you prepare to get scolded by yeah, Chiwa always do nothing, so we expect that. So you have people like Chiwa in your class where he does nothing. So that's what we do. But it happens. I guess that's how things work, you see. I guess that's how things work right now. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Chiwa, for chipping in. And I hope I answered your question, Huang. And Chiwa is saying you triggered me to think about WhatsApp commerce. Yeah, I think WhatsApp commerce is for the sales side. It's quite useful, I would say, because I kind of experienced several rounds using the WhatsApp to order things from some of the merchants, like especially the delivery or pickup, you know, for some of the restaurants or the eateries that I frequent. It works pretty well, and they are already automating up to a certain level. I think it's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's what I think. Okay, and let's see. The only thing again that Chiwai was saying, the only thing that you bring back to the classroom, guilt or now I know. Okay. And Huang is asking, how do you think we can get the percentage of course completion up? Oh, okay. Now, very good question. What we did was, in fact, we do have reminders email. Even that doesn't really help. Yeah, to be frank. And I also have people who bought the course and 1.5 years later come back and ask me, hey, how do I get access to the thing? It happens, my friend. It really happens. I guess, you know, it's really an era, especially the past 2 years, a lot of people just buy courses and just put it there in case. They would think that when they need it, they will come back for it. And the fact is they probably won't come back for it because they don't even remember. So I guess what we can do best as a course creator is at least we come back and ask a few, send them emails, send them reminders. And if you want to do, the best you can do is really to call them up. But what's the point, right? If you have a lot of students, if you have thousands of students like I do, I can't do that seriously. So the best we can do is we have automated email. Usually, I think at least 3 to 5 emails will be sent in the first 1 month. And we all know that emails will get delivered, but open or not is still on them. So I guess we just have to make peace. Just like we just have to make peace with our Facebook ads campaign. That's what I think. What do you think? Right? I think that's what we can do best. I think that's something that we have to kind of like, okay, I know that, you know, you're probably busy. I do my best. Then I guess that's how it works, right? Yeah, that's what I think. Okay, thanks for the question, Huang. Yeah, That's kind of that, right? But nonetheless, thank you so much for everyone who joined this this AMA session. Really, I really like my AMA, session. In fact, this is where I get a lot of very interesting insights from all of you, and really to learn from you guys. I'll do my best to offer any answers or my insights or my opinion on your questions. But then again, I must say that I'm not a dictionary, or I'm not like the Mr. Know All, that I will probably, if I don't know, if I can't answer a question, I'll do my best to find. But then again, really, this is a community that we want to grow together by learning from each other. That's the whole purpose of it. Okay, so remember, if you have any questions, just feel free to post them on my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, and anywhere. I'll bring them over to answer on every Sunday night at 9 p.m. But nonetheless, remember to follow my podcast. I'm promoting my podcast very heavily because I have a plan for it in a year's time. So I'm doing this. I'm actually updating on a daily basis. It's really something that I kind of like want to keep the momentum going. I've been posting daily on my YouTube channel for a year plus, close to 2 years now. I can and I will do this on my podcast as well. So if there's any topic you want me to cover, if there's anything you want me to discuss, or if you want to come out and be a guest, I mean, of course, for my podcast, it's going to be short. But if you have a topic that you want to discuss, I'm really, really open and excited to have you as a guest to the podcast, and probably we can discuss something. I'm actually limiting my podcast to be half an hour max. Currently, my episodes is ranging from about 8 to 13 minutes each kind of stuff. So basically, that's what I'm actually keeping it there. I want it to be quick and impactful. So if you have any topic that you kind of like, believe that we can discuss, because this podcast is a little bit more open. We talk about marketing as a whole, but then again, we also talk about entrepreneurship, growing a business, personal branding, and all that. Anything that actually can fit into the marketing aspect or running a business. So I guess it's a lot more open. So just let me know if there's any thoughts you have or any collaboration opportunities that you want us to explore together. Drop me a line. All right. So I think that's pretty much it that we have for today. Thank you so much for joining. And remember, we go live every Sunday night at 10 p.m. over here. Post your questions, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Good night, Huang, Chiwai, and everyone else who is watching. See you next week. Good night. Bye-bye.